Alright, first thing I'm going to do is start out putting some magic white up here. Alright, always start at the top, work your way down. I've seen it done many ways. This just works for me. It's such a thin layer. Bob Ross said this is the #1 reason why paintings fail. This layer being too thick. So I just keep pulling it down. Make sure to cover your edges real good. When we get to the bottom, I'll show you how to go back and check to make sure you ain't got no dry spots. Alright. Flip the brush over, use the other side. Now, when I'm doing it this way, I'm always hitting the center and pulling out, constantly thinning out that layer. The brushes are falling apart. Just want to make sure these edges are covered down here. I haven't really pushed hard to get the rest of that out of the brush. Alright, so right now I'm looking straight at it. I know I've went over the whole board, but if I've done it right and that layer is thin enough, then I should have dry spots. If I don't have dry spots, I'll probably put too much on it, and I'll go over it with a dry brush. Alright, but right now, like I said, I'm looking straight at it. I'm going to lean forward and look down the side of it. When you do that, and you look straight across it, you can see the dry spots. Alright, got some right here. I don't want to add no more to it unless I just absolutely have to. Scrub some of that up here, bring it down. It really is that thin. I messed up the first few I did because of this reason right here. Alright, once again, I know I've been over the whole board. I'm still going to lean forward to make sure I have no dry spots. Alright, everything is nice and shiny. when you're looking straight at it, it looks like the whole thing is shining. But when you lean forward, if you do that layer thin enough, then you're going to have dry spots. If you don't have dry spots, just go over it with a clean, dry brush. Start at the top, pull down. All right. So tonight, I think I'm going to start with, let's see, we'll start with Indian yellow. Find a good brush. All right. So I'm just tapping a little bit of color onto the brush, very little paint. If you think you picked up too much paint, move over to a dry spot and tap it. Let some of it come off. All right, let's see. Let's start it right here. And just X's. Let's pull some of this light out. Right now I'm just putting colors up here. We're going to come back and blend it all down. That's such a beautiful color. Once it hits white, it's a light brown, but once it hits the color white, then it turns beautiful yellow. All right, that'll work. Now I need to find me some red. So now our red will be perfect. Don't think I got any. But I do got some magneto, we'll use it. Alright, I got some too close. Alright, right there. Alright, so once again, let me show you. So we're going to pull out with the corner of the brush. I'm just going to pull out a small amount. And once I get a little bit poured out, I'll start tapping really hard. Just getting color on the bristles, not picking up a lot of paint. Alright, if you pick up a lot of paint, you'll be blending forever. You can come over here to this dry spot, tap it. Alright. Don't worry, it'll look like a mess until we blend it. because that magic white, it's just, you can move it anywhere you want. Alright, let's put just a little bit of Persian blue up there. There it is. Once we blend it all together, it should look really good. Alright. I'm not going to clean the brush. I'm just going to go into the Persian blue. Same thing. Pour out a little bit of paint. Tap it into the bristle. It's such a strong color anyway. Try not to get into that yellow, you will get greens. Just a little bit won't hurt. Alright, that'll work. Now I'll take my blending brush again, big old 2-inch, and just with the corner, I'll start right here in the center and just start working my way out. Small X's. And you can blend yours to however much you want, right? Always step back and look at it though. Before you move on to the next stage or whatever you're gonna do. Just take a look. Alright. Cool. Really being kind of firm with it, going through it, trying to pull it outward. Alright, that'll work. Soften it up down here on the bottom thing. Alright. Now we'll take a little bit of purple. So I'm going to mix a little Persian blue and that magna together. It'll give me and I'm going to mix it 2 to 1 more red than blue. Really, that blue is such a strong color. Make sure to pick your paint up, flip it. I'm gonna mix it a little bit more, there wasn't enough. I'm still gonna mix it 2 to 1. More red than blue. And if you don't know what colors make what colors, they have color wheels and color charts that you can get that'll show you. But if you watch enough Bob Ross shows, he's gonna teach you a bunch. You know, mostly the lavender or purple, because it's a neutral color. You can put it on top of the yellows. You don't have to worry about it turning green on you. All right, let's get a fan brush. Yeah. So I'm just wiggling my brush through the paint, letting it load up. Wiggling it kind of helps load up the sides. It loads up the center really easy, but getting paint on the edges is when I wiggle. All right. All right, just pretend like there's a sun there. So just want to keep my brush moving, really. If you let it stay in one spot, it just doesn't come out right. All right, get a little brush, and I just want to work the back side of this one. Just small circles. And like I said, keep it moving just like with the fan brush. A couple more. I'm not putting as much paint up here as I usually do for clouds, because I'm going to put something else on top of them. Add a little color to them. All right. Once again, the back side. in a minute we're going to switch it up and do the bottom side. Just depends on where your light source is coming from, really. We would have so many green tones right now if we hadn't mixed a little red with it. Alright, I'm just going to fluff these up a little bit. It's like a half of a circle. Alright. And I'm going to go across it lightly, no pressure. I'm just dragging the brush, really. And it really sets it down into the painting. Bob would say hypnotize it. And it gets rid of all those lines that pop up when you're fluffing up the cloud. Alright. Alright, right here we'll start blending it downward. Just want a nice strong edge. Alright. Like I said, we're going to do the bottom side of this one because I like the lights coming from the center there. If you have to go back to a spot, that's fine, but try not to stay in one spot. Alright. And we'll fluff this one up too. Alright, then lightly go across it, just dragging, no pressure at all, you'll destroy it. Alright. A few more of these and we'll move on. Alright, let's fluff it up. Alright, fluff it up. Alright. Now I need another fan brush. Oh, maybe I can use this other one. Yeah, that might work. Alright, so I'm just going to take a little bit of that Magna, a small amount. Now, if it don't want to come off for you, just thin your paint out a little bit. Just touching the edges where I want where I think the light is hitting. Alright, remember we did the back side of these, so we're going to come to the front. Alright. I just want to pull over these lightly. Very light. 3 hairs. And some air. That's what Bob would say. Alright, that works. That works for me. Alright, what's next? We'll do a couple of mountains, maybe. And some trees. Only worried about this edge, making sure that it is really nice and sharp. Make sure it stands out. After I mark that edge, I go back and scrape up any thick paint I don't need. We're going to use the knife to pull it out. Alright, that'll work. Get my so I'll start back here and pull this out first. And this is where we get to shape our mountain range. Don't want to touch the top edge though, just the inside. Alright, just like that. Alright, let me sit back and see what I got. Okay, that'll work. For now, I'll go back up there with another small one in a minute. Alright. So in that same white that I mixed that magneto with to do the clouds, I'm going to use that same white. I'm just not going to over mix it, so let's see what happens. go ahead and mix up a little bit of shadow color too. Alright. So for the shadow color, I'll use that red. Oh yeah. A little hint of blue in it. A little bit of white. Whew. Alright. Experiment with your colors. Try all kinds of combinations. You definitely want to make sure you're pulling in the angle your mount is going to be falling in though. Alright, and now we'll go back to the white, the pinkish white. Right here, we'll just bring these two together. when you're doing this, you don't want the knife to touch. You just want that little roll of paint to touch. That's how it breaks. If you press enough that the knife touches, you just flatten it out. All right, that'll work. Now we'll get the big, I call it my blending brush, but I use it for just about everything. All right, so it's going to pull back up the mountain just a little bit, not far. Make sure to keep those same angles. All right, now I'm going to come back and tap. All right, that'll work. We'll do another little set right through here. Nah, that'll work. That'll work. That will work. All right, this will work too.
What are you doing?
Painting live.
Painting live?
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna take some of this Persian blue.
Maybe go buy some sheets with his mattress on the bed.
All right. All right. I was gonna do it that way, but that'll take forever. Let's do it this way. I'm gonna put some small trees back there in the distance. I'm gonna put some water around them. Remember, if it don't want to come off, just add a couple of drops of thinner to it. It'll pop right off there for you. Alright, that'll work. Alright, take a little bit of that Indian yellow. Right through here, just with straight lines. It's okay if it pulls some of that color down of that blue, because we're going to pull some shadows and some reflections out of it. Alright, that'll work. Now let's blend that down. Alright. Make sure to keep these lines straight, guys. It won't look right if you put any kind of angle to it. The more I rub it, the softer it'll get. All right. Gorgeous water. Ooh. Oh yeah. Clean this brush. Now this time I'm gonna mix a little bit of thinner with my Persian blue because I want it to come off really easy. If you do this part right, your reflections will look amazing. The key to it is not putting a lot of paint up there. Alright, and barely touching. So let's see. Remember, just barely touch. Alright, that'll work. Alright, go back to my blending brush. And just want to pull down lightly. Very easy. If you put a whole lot of paint up there, this would not work. Three hairs and some air. Alright, now I'm going to lightly go across it after you pull it straight down. No pressure, light, light, light. Any pressure, you just smash that color, destroy all those gorgeous reflections. . Even if you're going at an angle, make sure to pull them straight down. Happy trees. That's right. The power of 6. Cool. That's an awesome third painting. I like that. Oh, well. Alright. Now we'll take us a little bit of actually, let's put a little color up there. Yeah. We'll use some yellow. That way we can get some green tones out of it. Alright, so our light is coming from the right side. I know it looks like the left on y'all side because I got the camera flipped around. I'm going to mix a little bit of thinner with it because I just want to be able to touch it and have it come off. I don't want to have to press hard. Put an animal or two in here. I've been working on some bears and horses. Now I'm mostly tapping this color on the right side of my tree. I'm not going to clean the brush, that way I just keep getting green tones when I go back to mix my paint. And you can keep tapping it and that it'll just get greener and greener and greener on you. Let some of that color fade. Alright, now we'll put some of that in the water. I said not a whole lot. Alright, same thing, go back over it lightly, lightly, lightly. Alright, now we'll do a water line to separate everything. But I'm gonna mix a little bit of black with it. Small amount, just to gray it down some. Maybe a little brown will work. That'll work. Always make sure to use a thin paint when you're doing your waterline. Bob said it comes off the knife easier. Alright, just get a small little line. And we'll just start, keep that blade straight as you, even always start at the highest point and work my way down. It just, to me, it comes off the blade a lot easier than trying to go up the canvas. So like I said, that's my highest point, even if I'm only coming down a millimeter or two. Trust me, it helps. Alright, got some nice borderline back there. I'll put some nice bushes down here. Maybe a tree or two. No, I don't want to mess up the top. We'll just do some bushes. So I'll go back into that lavender color. Maybe some blue, some black, even some green. Yeah, that's what I'll do. We'll do red on one side, green on the other. And where it mixes, we'll get some nice brown colors. All right. All right, what else? Oh. Put some Indian yellow with it too. I said I'm not cleaning the brush, just a bunch of colors. We'll add some white to that, and a bunch of bright yellow spots will pop out. Oh yeah. Alright, now let's try some of those spots. So a couple drops of thinner into the white. I'll just keep saying it. Experiment with the colors you have. Alright, what else can we do? Oh yeah. Got a couple more colors I can play with. Alright. And what I like about this part of it is the texture. At the end, you literally can feel these flowers. It is so thick. And that gray color that we made for the waterline, Alright, that'll do it. Let's pull the tape off, see what we got. Now, to me, the bottom would have looked like a mess if I hadn't had the border on there. But man, I like that. I like it a lot. Alright guys, thank y'all for coming. Really appreciate it. I hope I inspired at least one person to go home and paint, or try it at least. Alright, y'all have a great day. Thank y'all so much.